We'll open up for Tyler. We'll start with Ryan. We'll go to Carly.
Coach, after the game, I saw you and Maddie have like a moment there. Anything that you want to share just in that moment, just a part, just kind of like your thoughts on her performance?
Yeah, her performance was great. I told her that she belongs in this league. I told her that there's not many second-round picks that make it this far, and I told her with the team that there's no. We talk a lot about being present. We talk a lot about controlling what you can control. And for Maddie, I think she's the ultimate testament to that. I told the team it's not a coincidence that on the last day of the season that she has a game like that in the midst of what this season has been. And they see the work that she puts in daily with no complaints. She's had stretches where she hasn't played any minutes, stretches where she's expected to play big minutes, and it's a tough position for a rookie to be in. And this league, I think, is the toughest professional league in the world as a rookie, because the expectations are so high and the learning curve and the room to adjust is so quick that we forget to give them grace as a player. And Maddie has lived up to those expectations in terms of what we saw when we were, scouting her in last offseason, and we're just incredibly proud of what she was able to do today. But we're more proud of the character that she's shown throughout this year. I think that's the embodiment of what and who we want this guy to be.
Carly.
Maddie said the one thing that she really appreciated out of you all season has been the compassion that you've shown in building the relationships, not just with her, but with a lot of players, and that's something that we've heard from Coach DeCoste and Becky Hammond. Why is that something that you really pride yourself on, is relationship building, and how impactful can it be, not just in your first year as a head coach, but also moving forward?
I think that's the best advice that I think that I've gotten coming into this role is that a lot of people, when they move up a spot or when they move a chair over, when they get elevated into a new role, they feel like that they got to change who they are to meet and fit the position. And I was told to make the position mine, make it fit me and who I am, and stay consistent to my personality and my values and my morals and how I was raised. And part of that is just knowing how to treat people. And if the worst thing that people can say about me is that I don't know basketball, or my X's and O's don't work, or whatever comes with the game, I'm okay with that. If it means that I got a locker room full of players that know that I care about them, and a staff that knows that I care about them and will fight for them, I can let everything else go in one ear and out the other. But I just try to stay consistent with who I am, and I think that every role that I've been in, whether it's been a high school coach, a college coach, a WNBA coach, an NBA coach, a G League coach, player development, video coordinator, you name it, I think there's a lot of people that will speak to the consistency that I try to exude in terms of who I am as a person, and I just let that do the talking for me.
We'll go to Julia, then Naomi. Please limit follow-ups. We'll go back around if we have time.
Tyler, we know that the main goal for this franchise coming into the season was trying to establish this team as a little bit more of a target in free agency going into such a big free agency period. Do you feel like you guys accomplished that, and kind of what will that pitch look like as you guys get closer to free agency?
In some ways, yeah. I think that I think we're still trying to find that balance, but I think that when we pitch to free agents or whomever, we got to talk about the people that we have. We got to talk about who we want our organization to be about, or what we want our organization to be about, and how we pursue that, and how we're committed to pursuing that. And hopefully the transparency in that is a reflection of what our values are individually and as an organization, and then we can outline a process that kind of is identical to that in terms of what we need to do moving forward. And so those will be talks that will continue to be had moving into the off season. But right now and in this moment, regardless of the 10-34 record, I'm extremely proud to be sitting here as the head coach and with the team that I had, and I wouldn't have this first year to go any other for me personally.
We'll go to Naomi and then Alyssa.
Coach, throughout the season, we've asked you what you wanted the identity of this team to be now that things have concluded. Things may have not turned out the way that you wanted. What would you consider the identity of this 2025 Sky team?
Selfless, resilient, and toughness. I think we came into the season with the moniker of committing and competing. And I thought for the majority of the season we did that in a tough league with only 13 teams. Sometimes the records aren't always reflective of what teams are capable of. And I think that at moments throughout this season we've been able to show that. And at other times we've fallen short, but that's sports. And all we can do is continue to get up and keep fighting. And I think that again on a night like tonight, the last game of the season with 7 players against a championship contending team, you saw a team that continued to fight. And with 2 of our best players down, 3 of our best players down. And so I think that speaks to the character of that locker room as well.
Alyssa, then Mike.
Hey Coach, I feel like this season you have really tried to protect your players from like criticism on the outside. Who in your life is protecting you?
God, first and foremost. I lean pretty heavily into my faith, my family. It's one of the reasons my father's employed here, so you better be doing it. My wife, and I think a lot of ways who doesn't even know it yet, my son. The losses don't hurt as much, the criticism doesn't hurt as much once I walk through the doors at home and I have to be dad and I gotta be a husband. And for me, that allows things to stay in perspective. I got 12 kids here I gotta worry about, some my age and some younger, but I'm protective of them, but I'm protective of the people that I love as well, and that won't change.
We'll go to Mike and then Hope.
Coach, well, Kia and Maddie spoke highly about that compassion that we talked about earlier as one of your strengths. They said your weakness is being able to guard Maddie in 1v1s after practices. But what would you say is an aspect of your coaching that you feel maybe didn't quite hit this team as well this year that you'd like to kind of focus more on going into next season?
I think maybe the level of consistency of in-game play at times. But I think even more so than that, maybe just I think someone that prides themselves again on relationships and building that. There's a natural sense of wanting everyone to feel comfortable and happy, and sometimes you got to make things uncomfortable and got to be okay with some people being unhappy at times, whether that's on your staff, whether that's in front office, whether that's your players. That's part of the responsibility that comes with sitting in that seat, and it's understanding that when you make decisions, it's best for the team with the team in mind. Everyone's not always gonna be in a good place, and so what you have to do though is, upon making those decisions, you got to follow up and make sure that everyone knows that it's not anything personal. And so I think from that standpoint, it's something that I'll continue to grow into and work on in terms of just understanding that you're not always going to please everyone, and that's okay.
We're going to Hope and then Andy, and then we'll go to follow-ups.
Coach, you talked a lot this year about different challenges that the team that you have faced, but outside of the box score even, what do you think has been the challenge that you've worked hardest to alleviate this season?
I think that if you only paid attention to the outside, you would think that we were just a completely broken and fractured team. And if you've been to our practices and our shoot-arounds, you would see quite the opposite. They're a connected bunch that, and for those that have been involved and played sports, no team is absolved of going through tough times or hitting adversity in many different types, in many different forms. And I think for us in our organization, there's a stigma right now that has come with us, and not in a positive way. And fairly or unfairly, I think that for our players that fight every day for each other and for themselves, it's tough on them to have to hear that constantly when they know the opposite to be true. And so I just try to stay as committed to them as possible and as consistent in them hearing how much we appreciate that, and continuing to drive home the messaging of staying together, through this tough season. And they've done a great job of adhering to it and embodying that, on and off the court.
Go to Andy, and then we'll close out with Julia, Carly, Ryan, and Andy.
Coach, now that the off season's beginning, after your first year, what sort of work are you looking to get back to in this off season to have this team ready to go for year 2 of the Marsh era?
I'm a 49ers fan, and so I'm going to enjoy some 49ers football as much as I can for now. But once we get back to work, I plan on spending some time traveling to our players that we know will be here next year, and spending some time with them. I want to be able to see Unrivaled. I want to be able to get out to Athletes Unlimited. I want to be able to get overseas and see some as well. But I think for now, I just want to enjoy some time with my family, reflect on the season, put together a plan for the off season, and then move forward from there.
Julia, then Carly.
You talked kind of about the concept of like the stigma maybe following the team into the off season. How do you guys realistically combat that? Again, kind of just in the free agency perspective of it, how do you combat the idea that maybe there is a little bit of a stigma or a little bit of a negative perception that you feel like maybe isn't reflected in the reality of the team?
Yeah, I think we have to be prepared and ready to answer the tough questions that come with the pursuit of free agents and draft picks and agencies and things of that nature. And again, being honest and transparent with who we are and who we want to be and what the process looks like to get there. I think that the players in this league are extremely smart. Veteran players around this league know what it takes to be successful on and off the court, and we have to be committed to and reflect those ideals as well. And I think we are.
Carly, then Ryan.
Of your 2 rookies in both Haley and Maddie, what do you want to see them work on in the off season, both basketball wise and non-basketball wise?
For Haley, it's health first and foremost. We want her to be as healthy as possible. She's gone several years now straight of just continual basketball. So we want her to get healthy. I think that the balance of being a combo guard in this league looks like. So continuing to find that balance of being able to handle pressure, but also being able to stretch the floor, to read defenses, to command offenses. So that's from Haley's standpoint. The work ethic is already there. The character is already there. And same with Maddie. And then for her, it's about being able to stretch the floor even more than what she did today, but being more comfortable with doing so. I think that with Maddie, it's a lot about adapting and adjusting to the pace consistently. I spoke the other day about it's natural for a rookie to kind of to feel the game out when they come off the bench and kind of see where they can get in, where they fit in type. But sometimes you don't have the luxury of having that much time to do so. Like once you're in a game, you gotta be expected to go. And so going into her second year, it's less of an adjustment to what the pace looks like and more about now finding her niche in terms of where she fits in, schematically. And so that's how I'll leave it with those 2.
Ryan, and then we'll close out with Naomi.
As your group basically embarks on the off season, what message did you impart on the team as you guys are kind of parting?
It was more so the gratitude and appreciation for this year. I think there's so much up in the air going into next year that I don't want any of them to right now in this moment feel the burden that comes with that or the pressure that comes with that. So just enjoying each other for now and in the moment. I'm sure they'll have some fun tonight and hopefully they'll be safe, but it was less about what it will look like moving forward and harping more on what it looks like right now for all of us in this moment and today. And so we just wanted to be present in that and uplift each other in that. So
We'll close up with Naomi.
Coach, I know you alluded to the negativity and stigma of everything that's been going on over the last couple of weeks. It's kind of hard to avoid, and I know as a coach you could speak to, the value of all your players, but regarding Angel specifically, what value does she bring to this franchise now that you have gone through a season with her?
When we talk about commit and compete, that's who Angel is and has been. She is a competitor at the very core, and the criticism that she gets daily isn't fair, and that is beyond from this year. That extends from from years in the past. And so I think that she's someone that we also got to remember is in her early 20s as well, in a position that not many of us know what it's like to be in, on and off the court. And the grace that she deserves as well should be afforded to her. And regardless of what her stardom looks like, and it's unfortunate that she has to go through certain things that she has to go through, but she has a really good support system around her. We try to uplift her as much as possible. But I think that there's a human element that is missing sometimes when we speak on players, particularly in Angel's light. And so there's a whole lot of good that Angel embodies as well. And I think that should be talked about just as much as all the other stuff.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.